From the snow-capped peaks of Cortina to the pulsing heart of Milan, the world has arrived, and the bench is officially empty. Welcome to Olympics from the Bench. Here we go beyond the primetime tape delay and the polished medal counts to bring you the real grit of the Winter Games. We're talking the locker room drama, the underdog heartbreak, and the ice-cold tactical breakdowns that you won't find anywhere else. Whether the return of the pros to the Olympic ice arena or the chaotic debut of ski mountaineering, we're covering every inch of the 2026 Winter Olympic Games with the humanity, curiosity, and the occasional hot take that only ETB can provide you. And now, here's your host, Callan McClurg. Boy, oh boy, the roar of the crowds in Cortina today got silenced by a Minnesota-born hammer and the sheer velocity of the Flying Dutch women. Welcome, folks, day number 4 of the 2026 Milan-Cortina Olympics. And once again, welcome into Olympics from the Bench on ETB. Callan McClurg here from our home studios in San Diego, where on Monday the ice in Italy did not just melt, it evaporated on this Monday going into a Tuesday, February the 9th, 2025, as we continue on with our coverage here of the Olympic Games from Milan-Cortina, Italy on this, again, Monday going into Tuesday. Today we watched Jutta Leerdam turn the speed skating oval into her own personal slipstream, while Korey, Dropkin, and Thiesse walked into a den of screaming Italians and snatched the ticket to the gold medal game over in curling. It is a night of Dutch records, Swiss double golds, and an American curling duo that is officially playing for history. Time for us to get the show off and running. We like to remind everybody out there again here this evening that you can, of course, follow ETB across your favorite social media platforms. Make sure you like and subscribe over at youtube.com/ETB Network, where you can find all of our programs, and also, of course, follow us on follow us on social media. We are at ETB Network as well here this evening, and we hope that you folks have had a tremendous day as we, again, go Olympics off the bench. But again, you can find us again on socials, and again, subscribe to us at youtube.com/ETB Network, and more importantly, again, follow us on social media over at ETB Network on social media. That includes Twitter, Instagram, and on TikTok. All right, again, into our opening segment here this evening for the 4th day of competition from Milan-Cortina, Italy. Again, our lead story today in the gold position for our podium, our nightly podium. Again, Jutta Leerdam captures gold in the women's 1,000 meters for speed skating with the Olympic record time of 1:12.31. Her teammate, Femke Kok, also broke the Olympic record just minutes prior with Leerdam skating in the final pair against defending champion Miho Takigi. Lowered it again to secure a Dutch 1-2 finish in the event today. For those wondering, Brittany Bowe and Erin Jackson both also were 1 and 2, but right away, though, as I said, though, folks, I believe on Sunday when we had the recap show, though, for day 3, it was surprising, though, for the first day of competition for the women for speed skating, the Dutch did not medal at all, though, when we saw Italy win that medal early on in the opening weekend of the tournament and of the games. But again, much like probably my thoughts on Ilya Milanin on Sunday, and even today now, comparing and contrasting, this is once again, you don't show the opposition your whole hand or your deck of cards. And the Dutch, again, go 1 and 2, though. But I did watch this event, though, again, having kind of flipped around the day, spent the morning watching a lot of the, snowboarding, some skiing, curling being on. Of course, we'll talk about them a bit later on in the segment here. But obviously, watching for Erin Jackson and watching for Brittany Bowe. I mean, Erin and Brittany, though, were, they had done their, they did their job. But again, when you have that one opponent lingering in the back in a way, when it boils down, though, to, again, the Dutch women who, again, as I believe I pointed out on Sunday, and I forgot to go back and double check the stat line, But I do think I saw a stat, though, that they did not win a medal at all for the first time in at least the last 4 to 8 years when it boils down to the speed skating event, though. We knew, though, I think eventually that they were going to, capture fire in a way and get back on track. And I think today, though, it was that way because between, Leerdam alongside Kok as well, 1 and 2, that was where where Aaron Jackson and also where Brittany Bowe were at one point again. Because Aaron Jackson was flying in her event today to go into first place. Brittany Bowe may have struggled a little bit, and I did kind of notice, though, those turns, though, is kind of where it looks like it's more like, everyone kind of, gets their turn to take the lead, though, in some capacity. But even then, though, they still were 1 and 2, though, and it literally lasted, I think, for one event. And then once you saw the orange suits come out there, you're like, oh man, like you're feeling okay about it, though. But also, man, the Dutch women, they are phenomenal to watch when it boils down to speed skating. And maybe not much of a surprise, though, that we see them again win gold. That goes 1-2 in favor of the Dutch national team in the women's 1,000 meter. Again, a Olympic record today for Jutta Leerdam, 1 minute, 12 seconds, and 31 hundredths, with her teammate Femke Kok finishing in second place for a 1-2 Dutch finish, though, with Miho Takagi finishing in third to go 1-2-3 over in the women's 1,000 meter speed skating event today from Cortina. In our silver story, it is a rematch of the Beijing final with this in mind, though, but Mathilde Gremaud of Switzerland defended her slopestyle gold medal. The result of it, though, was, of course, Chinese national team member Eileen Gu winning silver and trailing by just a mere 0.38 points, despite missing the gold. Gu celebrated her fourth career Olympic medal, calling it, though, her best slopestyle run ever, following a year of recovering from a concussion. I sadly missed out on this one today. I think just it got lost in the shuffle of all the other events that were going on today with hockey, curling, of course, we'll talk about next, though, here as well. But obviously, I think a lot of people, I think we all kind of in a way got captivated 4 years ago by Eileen Gu. Again, Stanford alum, Northern California product, but again, playing or representing the Chinese national team. And literally always epic, though, when you get a rematch of the prior Olympics where you have like that unfinished business, though, when it boils down to certain events, though. And again, it is Switzerland's Mathilde Gremaud who wins the gold medal in the event, though, with Eileen Gu, calling it her best slopestyle run ever. And that's also, folks, very heavy for Gu to say that. Best ever after a full year of coming off the concussion recovery. Obviously, we talked about Lindsey Vonn at length on Sunday. We'll have more about Lindsey a bit later in the show. We will break down her first public commentary made via the web today regarding her injured left leg that, of course, was suffered on Sunday during the opening round or her opening run of the downhill ski event. But again, Eileen Gu of China wins silver, losing out by just 0.3 points in that event. Folks, over in curling for the bronze medal, it was epic. It was great. And this is our bronze medal story, I should say, though. But it was epic. It was loud. It came down to the final throw. But bravo and hats off to Corey Dropkin and Korey Thiesse, who knock off the defending Olympic champions of Italy, Stefania Constantini and Amos Mozaner. 9-8 is the final. It boiled down to the final throw of end number 8 with Corey Thiesse's final stone with the hammer, which means you get to throw second in curling and bury the Italians on their home ice. They will face Sweden on Tuesday for Olympic gold. And this is still an amazing run, folks. And by the way, these were both upsets. If you were not maybe able to watch live or watch the primetime highlights, Great Britain and Italy, the 1 and 2 seeds, both out of the equation after losing in the semifinals to Sweden and to Team USA. And like I said on Sunday, though, I have a little bit of experience, though, with curling. As I said, though, having worked in hockey for a long time here in town, a lot of our local hockey rinks have the curling targets, on them. The rink I used to work at that closed down during COVID, we would have curling leagues after games I would announce would end usually like 10 o'clock, 10:30 in the evening. And I got to learn a little bit about the game and the intricacies of it, though. I was literally like on the edge of the couch. And I'll be very frank. I was on the edge of the couch watching this match. It kept going back and forth, back and forth. And every time you felt like Team USA had it in the bag. Bravo to Stefania Constantini, who literally was always the last throw. It was always the last thrower, especially if Italy had possession of the hammer, which means you get to go second in the event. Every time it was like, no, I'm knocking out these stones. No, yes and no, yes and no. And it really seemed like, though, from that perspective, though, and I noticed this a little bit, though, too, ever, watching the match. It seemed like, though, whenever Amos Mozaner had been throwing, there was way too much pace, or he would knock out his own stones. He may have knocked out one American stone, though, but then he would shoot himself in the foot, though. It really seemed like Stefania Constantini had to be the savior and really the anchor to keep her team alive in this match, because without some of her throws that came down, where it was, 3-0, 3-3, 5-3, 5-4, 5-5, 7-5, and the score keeps changing. A lot of her throws were in clutch moments that they absolutely had to have happen. But in the end, though, Korey Dropkin and Korey Thiesse, as I kind of said, though, too, on Sunday, they're a bit of a contrasting style, though. They're not as overly aggressive hurling the stones down the lane, though. They're more composed, take their time, add some curl to it, though, and whatnot. In the final play, the final throw by Korey Thiesse could not. I mean, it basically was like, a checkmate. Hey, I see you, Stefania Constantini. I'll raise you one here. That's kind of how it felt, though, watching that final throw come out, come to fruition of the throw. And then, of course, the jubilation of Korey Dropkin at the very end, though, arms in the air, fist pumping, whatnot, carrying Korey off the lane. But again, epic match, though. Team USA mixed doubles for curling to the finals to face Sweden, who they already beat earlier in pool play on Tuesday from Milan-Cortina. The numbers have shifted pretty drastically over in the medal count after day number 4. It is now Norway on top. Again, we go here, folks, by gold medals in total. It is the Norwegians and the Swiss on top of the table with 3 gold medals. For Norway, 3, 1, and 2. For 6 total medals. For Switzerland, 3, 1, and 1 for 5. Japan, 2, 2, and 3 for 7. Germany, 2, 1, and 1 for 4. Team USA still 2, 0, and 0 for 2. And Italy may have 9, but though it is 1, 2, and 6. That is gold, silver, and bronze in that order for Italy to round up a top 6 right now. The big takeaway from day 4, though, Switzerland is the biggest mover on the board, thanks in part to Franjo van Almen, who became the first double gold medalist of the games, winning both the downhill and team combined event today on the mountaintops. Italy still holds the most hardware overall at 9, but their gold drought continues after the curling upset by Team USA. They have just the 1 gold still at this rate, and right now behind Team USA, who is still right now at 2. But if curling can topple Sweden, they will jump right into the top 3 with their 3rd gold medal of the tournament and of the games coming up. So once more, Norway, Switzerland, Japan, Germany, Team USA, and Italy 1 through 6 so far through the Monday and day 4 of tournament and of Olympic play. Folks, our performance of the night, though, is going to go to the aforementioned Swiss national team member, Franjo van Almen. 2 golds in 3 days. The man is basically the Swiss Army knife of the Stelvio. He won the downhill solo, then teamed up with his teammate, Togni Neff, to win the first ever team combined. And right now, he is the king of Bormio right now at this rate. So that performance right there, by the way, for the Swiss national team, again, literally leapfrogged them into number 2 and for a tie right now with 3 golds alongside the Norwegians at this rate. So hats off to Switzerland for the jump that was made, though, in both the downhill and team combined events today at this rate for the Olympic golds and for the gold count right now. Let's check in now, folks, with Team USA. Women's hockey continues to roll. Another day, another shutout. 5-0 Team USA over the Swiss national team today. Haley Wynn and Hannah Bilka both scored their first ever Olympic golds, while Gwyneth Phillips played in goal today with a 21-save shutout in her debut, as Team USA cruises now to a 3-0 start, though. And now we get the major tests in the big game tomorrow over on USA at around 11 o'clock Pacific time tomorrow. Team USA versus Team Canada. Both teams 3-0. Team USA outscoring their opponents 15-1 through their 3 matches so far played. Literally, folks, the game tomorrow is for seeding. Winner of that will win Group A, the top overall seed, while the loser will be the number 2 seed at this rate. So that will be a game that we will be looking forward to. You know, it's always fun though, folks, whenever we see USA Canada, when it boils down though to women's hockey, and you'll actually hear more about this actually on Friday. Very good tease for you here. On Friday, we have a new Small Market Edition episode coming out that is literally talking about how it's been a struggle for women's hockey to really gain a lot of traction or get a professional league or be stable enough to actually, be on your radar more often than not when it comes down to the events or to the game in itself. So that'll be coming out on Friday, and we look forward to having you listen to that episode on Friday. But again, Team USA and Canada will battle out for the top overall spot in women's hockey's Group A, while the loser will drop to the number 2 seed, and again will still qualify for the tournament. Folks, we finally have news from Lindsey Vonn, who in part, again, did write a very lengthy caption. As we all know, again, folks, we said on Sunday during Day 3 coverage that once more Lindsey Vonn, again, after ripping the ACL on Friday last week, elected to give it a shot and still compete, though, over the course of the Olympic Games, and sadly re-injured herself, though. We saw the video. We talked about it, though, at length, though, on Sunday about the airlifting, or her having to be airlifted to the hospital, which, by the way, was about 80 miles away from the village up in Cortina. And the diagnosis had become a left leg fracture. It may have gotten a little bit worse, though, per what they were reporting, though. But Lindsey Vonn, though, did, in fact, share her first confirmation of the injury, but also did, in fact, talk about the injury and also about what occurred, and also her thought process due to the fact, again, that we, again, had even said here last night on Sunday, was it the right idea, though, even though I said, hey, go for it, give it a shot. If the knee can hold up, though, why not go for it? And then obviously the injury takes place, though. So here now, folks, I will read you Lindsey Vonn's full statement that was made on Instagram within, I would say, the last 9 hours, roughly, at this rate. Lindsey Vonn writes on IG in part the following statement: "Yesterday, my Olympic dream did not finish the way I dreamt it would. It was not a storybook ending or a fairy tale. It was just life. I dared to dream and had worked so hard to achieve it, because in downhill ski racing, the difference between a strategic line and a catastrophic injury can be as small as 5 inches. I was simply 5 inches too tight on my line when my right arm hooked the inside of the gate, twisting me and resulting in my crash. My ACL and past injuries have absolutely nothing to do with my crash whatsoever. But unfortunately, I sustained a complex tibia fracture that is currently stable, but will require multiple surgeries to fix properly. While yesterday did not end the way I had hoped, and despite the intense physical pain it caused, I have no regrets. Standing at the starting gate yesterday was an incredible feeling that I will never forget. Knowing I stood there having a chance to win was a victory in itself. I always knew that racing was a risk. It always was and always will be an incredibly dangerous sport. And similar to ski racing, we take risk in life. We dream, we love, we jump, and sometimes we fall. Sometimes our hearts are broken, and sometimes we don't achieve the dreams we know we could have. But that is also the beauty of life. We can try. I tried, I dreamt, I jumped. I hope if you take anything away from my journey, is that you all have the courage to dare greatly. Life is too short not to take chances on yourself, because the only failure in life is not trying. I believe in you just as you believed in me. With love, signed LV." I mean, I don't know, though, folks, if Lindsey Vonn could not have written a better statement, when it boils down to the injury. Again, we obviously have, again, we've sat here these, 2 of the last 3 days, 3 of the last 4 days now, dating back to Friday. And obviously I was very much mixed. I said Friday, hey, Lindsey, go for it, prove to the world that you can be out there on, like basically on one leg and, play through the pain. And then Sunday, it's buyer's remorse, as I said on the show last night, at the rate that we were going here. And I think, though, that Lindsey Vonn, though, is right, is that we should never, in a way, put ourselves in boxes And we never should limit ourselves to what we can and can't do. And we should, in fact, take risks and take gambles and bet on ourselves, though, to to make life work. And we know that life is hard. And I think what I take out of that, though, is that never stop believing in yourself and take the gamble, take the risks, and never stop following your dreams. I made a point of emphasis a little bit, though, on the lounge on Monday night about the halftime show for the Super Bowl. In a way, kind of in that whole regard, though, is that the scene of Bad Bunny giving the Grammy to a younger version of himself, though, was hey, that was him dreaming about getting to that stage one day. We should never we should never get short-sighted. Never lose what's ahead a mile down the road, for example, and that we always should be pushing the boundaries for ourselves and for our lives and for work, home, play, school, you name it, though, and to never settle for less than. I think that Lindsey Vonn wrote that very well, but as she did, though, confirm that she did, in fact, or she does, in fact, say in part, though, that both the past injuries and the ACL had nothing to do, though, with the injury sustained. That's her own words, though. Take them for what you want, though. But again, sadly, just catching the wrong part of the gate, though, and kind of wrapping her arm around the gate, kind of twisted the leg around a little bit, though, and obviously led to the fractured foot, or the fractured leg, I should say. And that is the latest, though, on Lindsey Vonn's condition. Again, it's now multiple surgeries to now correct that fracture in her left leg following the event on Sunday. Folks, around the rings here real quick. We are going to start off, though, in the snowboarding big air gold medal event. On the final jump, though, it was a victory for Japan's Kokomo Murasi of Japan, who snatched the big air gold on her final jump, though, edging out a very worthy competitor, though, of Zoe Sadowski-Synnott in the snowboarding big air, though. And furthermore, in ski jumping, Germany's Philippe Raimund won the normal hill gold on his Olympic debut with a massive 138.5-meter flight in the ski jump event. I think I may have said this, folks, on Friday. The ski jump in the big air event does really scare me. And this is a guy who loves roller coasters and loves, the intensity of the opening drop and the speed. But something about freely flying off of the ramp like they do in that event, and all you have is your own two legs to land, and you have to land properly or you're screwed. I mean, I give those athletes in snowboarding big air and also with the ski jump so much damn respect, because even I would probably chicken out. I get all the way to the top, though, and then I would back out. I think I've actually made the point, though, to Nick on Press Row that I have, seen the videos of some of the old former areas that has had the Olympics, though, and they have converted some of the Winter Olympic ski jump slides like this, as you see with them going up, into full-fledged swimming pools and splash pools. Even that kind of, in a way, would terrify me a little bit, though. But again, congratulations again to Japan's Kokomo Murasi of Japan for winning the big air gold on her final jump today, and Germany's Philippe Raimund, who won the normal hill gold on his in his Olympic debut with by again flying over 138.5 meters. Just for those who want to get that in feet, with where things are again with the whole metric system at this rate, with where the conversions are, that's about roughly. Now my math might be wrong here, real quick, about trying to get this in from meters to feet. But if you were to do that, we're looking at roughly 454 feet plus with how far this man, or with how far he went. So that's something else for sure. That's a very long ways to go. But again, congrats to both of those athletes, though, for winning their golds in both big air and also in the normal hill gold as well. All right, gang, into Tuesday, here is your February 10th medal day slate. Again, all times, again, folks, are Pacific, coming up in roughly an hour's time at 1 a.m. Pacific time. The men's 1,500 speed skating, Jordan Stoltz begins his quest for a triple individual gold for Team USA. At 4 a.m., women's single luge runs 3 and 4. Germany's Julia Tobitz is the heavy favorite, though, for runs 3 and 4. By the way, and I said this last night, Germany has just been crushing the competition right now on the men's and women's side of things right now for luge. So again, keep an eye once more on Germany's Julia Tobitz at 4 a.m. local time out here on the West Coast. At 6:30 a.m., the men's free ski slopestyle final, Alex Hall and Mac Forehand will chase the podium at 6:30 a.m. At 9:05 a.m., it is mixed doubles curling. For the gold medal, Team USA versus Team Sweden will take each other on for the gold medal, while Italy and Great Britain will battle things out for the bronze medal a bit earlier in the day. To round out the mixed doubles event, again, 11 a.m. will be Team USA versus Canada. 3-0 versus 3-0 for women's hockey. The best rivalry in women's hockey going, period, in a story. Winner of that will be the #1 overall seed in Group A, while the loser will be with one loss and be the #2 spot team in Group A for seeding. And then one of my other favorite events, folks, starting up this upcoming Tuesday at 12:30 Pacific time, the men's 15K individual biathlon event, which will feature Johannes Tignes Bob, who will look to extend the Norwegian dynasty of the 15 kilogram individual biathlon. I love the biathlon. I'm a sucker for the biathlon. Curling, hockey, biathlon are my three favorites. When snowboarding half pipe hits, though, I always love that one for all the years of Shaun White being involved with that. So again, folks, let's run through that once more. Again, the action will get started again roughly within the next hour at 1 a.m. Pacific time, 4 a.m. Eastern. Jordan Stoltz will get his events going for speed skating with the men's 1,500 meter speed skating event. At 4 a.m., once more, women's singles luge runs 3 and 4. Germany's Julia Tobitz is the heavy favorite again for luge, runs 3 and 4. Men's free ski slopestyle final at 6:30 a.m. with Alex Hall and Mac Forehand chasing the podium. And again, a big medal day once more at 9 o'clock in the morning on the West Coast. Mixed doubles curling gold medal match, Team USA versus Sweden, which will feature, again, Korey, Dropkin, and Corey Thiesse facing off with Sweden's Oscar Eriksson and Almeida Duval in that matchup at 9 o'clock in the morning for a curling mixed doubles gold. 11 a.m., Team USA versus Canada women's hockey, again, 3-0 versus 3-0. And at 12:30 p.m., Norway's Johannes Tignes Bob will look to continue the Norwegian stranglehold on the individual biathlon in the 15-kilometer event coming up on Tuesday. So that is where things stand right now as we, in a way, get to day 5 already. To kind of recap, folks, once more, the big stories of the evening, again, from day number 4 of competition here from Milan-Cortina. Again, it is all about the orange being the new gold in women's speed skating. Once more, the Netherlands go 1 and 2 with Jutta Leerdam and Femke Kok both taking home 1 and 2 in the event, with Miho Takagi taking home number 3 for the women's speed skating 1,000-meter relay event, or a 1,000-meter race today, with Aaron Jackson and Brittany Bowe. Both having great showings, though, but came up, though, just short, sadly, thanks to the domination of the Netherlands team. In the women's slopestyle gold medal event, that goes to Switzerland's Mathilde Gremaud, as Eileen Gu was knocked out by 0.38 points off the scoreboard. And again, Corey Dropkin and Corey Thiesse stunning the Italian national team for mixed doubles on their home turf, literally a 9-8 final in the mixed doubles curling semifinals. Team USA moves on to play Sweden tomorrow for all the gold in the mixed doubles event. The gold count after 4 days of competition: Norway, Switzerland, Japan, Germany. Team USA and Italy have all won golds, or have all won medals, I should say. Norway and Switzerland both have won 3. Japan, Germany, and Team USA all with 2, and Italy with 1 after 4 days of competition. Here today, Team USA women's hockey winning 5-0 today versus Switzerland on Monday, with Haley Wynn and Hannah Bilka both getting their first ever Olympic goals, and Gwynn Phillips, 21 save shutout in her debut in her first game of action. Again, Team USA women will play Canada tomorrow to decide the top seed of Group A at 11:10 a.m. on USA. Again, Lindsey Vonn, again, confirming the injury she did, in fact, sustain. Kokumu Murasi of Japan wins the big air gold event on the last jump of the night to win that event. And Germany's Philipp Raimund wins normal hill gold in his debut with a massive 138.5-meter flight. And again, all those events starting up at 1 a.m. will include speed skating, luge, free ski, slopestyle, doubles, mixed doubles curling, gold medal, Team USA women's hockey, and the men's 15-kilometer individual biathlon to round out the must-watch events tomorrow. With that, folks, tomorrow, a Minnesota girl and a Massachusetts guy will throw stones for gold, and Jordan Stoltz gets his engine started. The Dutch have the records, but the Americans have the momentum. I'm Callan McClurg, folks. We'll see you back here again for Day 5 coverage back here at 10:30 Pacific Time, 1:30 a.m. Eastern, right back here on ETB. Until tomorrow night, have a great day and enjoy Day 5 on Tuesday. Till next time, bye-bye.